Open up the second exercise in the second lesson, T2.2 Exercise Add Menu in Android Studio. In this exercise, we're going to add a menu for the GitHub Query application. First, we'll add the title for our menu action to our strings.xml file and we'll call it search. Then, we'll create a menu resource called main.xml. To do that, we first need to create a directory to hold all of our menu files. Right-click the res directory, select Android Resource Directory, choose Menu for Resource Type, and hit OK. Then, right-click the new menu directory and choose Menu Resource File. We'll name it main and add one menu item with an ID of @+ID/action-search. Even though it's not technically needed for a one-item menu, we'll then set the order and category to 1 since it's the first menu item. Now, we'll ask Android to show a button in the action bar using app:"show-as-action equals if room. Note that if there isn't room to show the menu entry as a button, it would still end up in the overflow menu. We use app:"show-as-action rather than Android:"show-as-action to keep things compatible with Gingerbread in the support library. You can use the Android Studio shortcut Alt or Option/Enter to add the app namespace to your XML. Finally, set the title to the search string, search, from strings.xml. On to the main activity code. First, we'll override onCreateOptions menu and call getMenuInflator to inflate our menu resource into the passed-in menu object. Then, we'll override onOptionsItemSelected. To demonstrate that your onOptionsItemSelected is being called with the correct menu item, we'll introduce another nice Android framework element, the toast. A toast is typically used to provide simple feedback about an operation in a small pop-up. It only fills the amount of space required for the message, and the current activity remains visible and interactive. For example, navigating away from an email before you send it triggers a draft saved toast to let you know that you can continue editing later. Toasts automatically disappear after a certain timeout. Menu items are identified by integer IDs, so first, I'll grab the selected item's ID. Once I have the ID, I'll check if it equals the ID for our action search menu item. Remember, we specified this ID in the XML resource file. When you have more than one menu option, a switch statement is a little cleaner than a bunch of chained if statements, but I'll use a single if statement here for simplicity. If this item was the search menu item, I'll show a toast. Later, I'll make this do something much more interesting. To create a toast, we call the static toast.makeText method with the current context, our activity, the text to show, and one of the two constant values for how long to show the toast, toast.lengthShort or toast.lengthLong. Make sure to call show on the toast after you've created it to display it. So now it's your turn. Add the menu to your application, hook it up in code, and use it to display a toast. Have fun!